What's going on, guys? Christian Belay here, back with the Denver Nosebleeds and the Tell It As It Is podcast. Had a lot of free time today. I've had a lot of free time lately, so I wanted to go through, kind of do a little bit of an armchair GM of kind of what I'm thinking for this offseason for the Avs, what they can do to get better, and just kind of all that fun stuff. So if you look on the screen, you can kind of see the armchair GM I got going here. And I fully expect to get roasted on this. You guys can roast away, do all the things you want to do. That's totally fine with me. But this is just kind of my quick initial thoughts of what this team can do. I ended up only having like $50,000 left in cap space. So that's going to be interesting to see because I definitely kept Gabriel Landeskog on LTIR throughout the entire year. I don't expect him to be back next season. It just doesn't seem to be the case that he's going to be back. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. If you look at the top line, nothing surprising there. You got Nathan MacKinnon, Arturi Lehkonen, Mikko Rantanen. We're good there. Everyone knows that's going to be the top line. And it was a good top line. So why mess it up? But where you'll see the interesting part is in the second line. Okay. So I made a trade. It's a guy that Griffin and I have talked about ad nauseum on the Tell It As It Is podcast. It's Nick Schmaltz. The reason why I traded for Nick Schmaltz is he has 3 years left on his deal, which would give you some financial security and just some security of a second line center for the next 3 years. And I also just think he'd be a perfect fit for this Colorado Avalanche team. I mean, look what he did with the Coyotes in the second half of the season with him, Clayton Keller, and Barrett Hayton. Like that was a disgusting line, and it gave the Avs a lot of trouble. And I know the Coyotes are looking to move pieces. I don't know if they're looking to move Nick Schmaltz, but in this fantasy world, Nick Schmaltz is going to be a member of the Colorado Avalanche. So let me just live in that fantasy, okay? What I traded away for him was Sam Girard, which freed up about $5.5 million in cap space. I know a lot of people will cheer at the fact that I trade Sam Girard, but I think it's time to trade him. And if you can upgrade it to get a second line center, this team desperately needs a second line center. So I trade Sam Girard, a first round pick, a fourth round pick, and Sampo Ranta for Nick Schmaltz. I think that's a fair trade. I may have overpaid even on my end. So it could be the opposite of where I'm paying too much money for it and too many assets for it. But I really like Nick Schmaltz. The other player I re-signed on his left wing is Evan Rodriguez. I really like the way Evan Rodriguez played this year. And what he did in the playoffs, I thought he was fantastic. I'm a little hesitant to sign him to this, but I really do think it's a good deal. I may have overpaid for him. I signed him for $4 million for 3 years, which, like I said, may seem like a little bit of an overpay, but I really do think that's what he's going to get. I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up getting 3.5, but I just went and I guessed high, and I took 4. And then on the right wing, I kept Val Nichushkin there. Obviously, we don't know what's going on with Val Nichushkin, but that seems like it's going to get worked out before the start of the season. So you look at your top 6, it's already better than it was last year. And you have the potential of adding Gabe Landeskog back into this at the postseason or even at the trade deadline. This would be massive for the Avs. And I really, really like that top 6. You go ahead and look at the third line. The first player I re-signed was Andrew Cogliano. I just signed him 1 year, $1 million. I think that's going to be fair enough for him to get him back. And the next player I signed was Thomas Nosek for 1 year, $1 million. He had a really strong year in Boston, and I think he could really thrive with the Avs in a bottom 6 role. And then you're keeping Logan O'Connor on the right wing for another 2 years. I thought LOC, he does exactly what we want him to do. Moving on to the fourth line, Alex Newhook I have getting re-signed. I think it's going to be a bridge deal. I don't think it's going to be more than $2 million. I just don't see it with his production. This may once again be a signing where it's going to be less money than I originally planned for, but 1.5 seems fair. I also brought back Lars Eller for 1 year at the league min. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I did like what Lars Eller did near the end of the year. And then finishing off that right wing, you have Matt Nieto at 1 year, $1 million. Again, that may be a little bit of an overpay. I totally understand why some people would think that's an overpay, but I like the way Nieto plays. I like the way he fits in the system. I also brought back Dennis Mulligan, a 1 year league min deal. I think that'd be a fair guess for him personally, but I like this forward group. I think it's a really good forward group. I think this could win a cup. And if you add Gabriel Landeskog back into it, that would be massive. We keep moving on. Let's move on to the D-men. So you have your obvious top pair of Devon Taves and Cale Makar. Nothing's going to change there. I did re-sign Bo Byram. I think I didn't sign him to as much as he's going to get. I think $3 million might be a little light for him, but I did sign him for 3 years, $3 million. So he'll be back. Josh Manson, obviously, he's coming back. Hopefully, he comes back healthy and we're feeling great. But man, those playoffs kind of left a sour taste in my mouth with Josh Manson. Then you go ahead and look at the bottom pair, bringing back Jack Johnson, 1 year, $1 million, maybe a little bit of an overpay, but seems about right for Jack. And then I'm bringing in Travis Hamonic I think I signed him for 2 years at $3 million. I think that would be a good spot for Travis Hamonic. He's been with the Ottawa Senators the past couple of years, hasn't been terrible, but he could really fill in that role of a 6th, 7th defenseman for the Avs. My king, Curtis McDermott, stays there right where he's at. He could also play the forward group. That's why I don't have a guy like Ben Myers up there. And then with the last money I had, I brought in Troy Stetcher from the Calgary Flames. He's been solid wherever he's been the past couple of years. Do I think he has the capability to be a top 4 defenseman? No. But as a 6th, 7th, 8th defenseman, I think he could really thrive in that role. So I feel like the defense is built back up. You're planning for injuries, which are going to happen, and you have 8 capable NHL defensemen, in my personal opinion. Goaltenders, nothing changes. You keep Alexander Georgiev, you keep Pavel Francouz. Hopefully Frankie can stay healthy. But that's kind of my team. That's kind of where I have the Avs right now, and I'm feeling pretty darn good about it. Obviously, losing Girard is going to hurt you because he eats minutes like no one else, but you need to address the second-line center role. You absolutely need to address the second-line center role, and Nick Schmaltz would just be the perfect fit for it. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of this, if you think I'm just totally crazy or if this is something you could see the Avs getting behind. But I had so much fun doing this. I'm probably going to make like 10 more of these armchair GMs because they're just so damn fun. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and I'll catch you all next time. But until next time, let's go Avs, baby.